Sports. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now live here on Sportzwire Radio, and we almost had an insanity calamity there because my mic almost dropped. But I hope you can hear me now. But we are going to go live here, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about. It is going to be a live one here on Sportzwire Radio because this is the first show in 2025. And boy, did we pick a guest here that's got a lot to talk about. And he's even got a lot to talk about when it comes to a match that's sort of born from this platform, but yet doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you why. We'll talk about also a match that was just announced, fresh off the presses. We're also going to talk about our guest winning his first gold in the Indies. We'll talk about he's doing a double duty here this weekend, Friday and Saturday. We'll also talk about, yes, NEW. I'll ask him about Joe Starr. I'll talk to him about Kuma, and we'll spend a few minutes on that. But there'll be a big surprise in store also here tonight. I assure you, this will be one that you won't want to miss. But since it is, after all, in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, and we have certainly saved, I think, the best, the first one in 2025. I have to give our guest the first introduction, the first one here in 2025. And I'm going to guarantee you this. Last year, my first guest of 2024 was a guy, Jackson Sabre. Remember that, Jackson Sabre. But I think we've moved up in the world. I love Jackson Sabre. I love what he's done. But went from Jackson Sabre to DSavage. Yeah, we've definitely felt the power, and we're definitely up. I'm going to give him that introduction. You're waiting for it. And I have a feeling a surprise or two might be waiting for it. So let's get this show on the road here in style. The first one of 2025 on the platform that our guest and several of the companies that he's wrestled for have certainly helped build, where nearly 1,360 subscribers continue to get that notification for it. It's Sportzwire Radio. Let's get this show on the road here in style. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show, a man that is one half of the Rope to Rope Tag Team Champions, a man who was once a failing bodybuilder, but is now one of the rising stars in the independent wrestling circuit in the state of Pennsylvania. And he's also a part of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame from our friends at NEW Underground Wrestling. And boy, is he always giving insanity calamities to many of his opponents coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is simply put, The champ is here, my friend. How are we doing it? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Tom. I'm doing great, and to get the champ is here. That feels good.
You earned it. We were talking about this before it went in the air. I'm like, we got to mention it because I saw it on Facebook and Instagram. You won some gold in the Indies, and that's a pretty big thing. And, congratulations to you on that. We have a major announcement to get to here in a minute, but definitely also it's great that you're the guy, and the dog is certainly back, but you can keep the dog in the stream. It might actually make more people want to tune in, but it's good to see you also on a historical note, because you're the first person in 2025. So we're going to remember that here next year. I'm going to remember. So, 2024 was Jackson Sabre, and now you're the first guest of 2025. I mean, congratulations.
Oh, well, if anybody needs congratulating, it's the fans. So, congratulations to them that they get to see me.
Well, it's good. It has been, I think, a hot skipping event since you've been here, but we have a lot to talk about. I'm really excited about this one because you've actually got like a lot of really cool things to talk about. And it's great because I've been doing a lot of independent wrestling over the past month and a half or so. So I actually have a couple of these segments coming up in the next week. And maybe you'll find out a little more about one of those things in a little bit. But, you have an announcement that you literally just posted on Instagram. I'm going to share the screen here in a minute. So let's talk about it here. For those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage here, the platform you, DSavage, most certainly helped build here, Sportswire Radio, you're going to be in action already next weekend and set the tables for us on this hot off the presses announcement of you in action. Well, not only you, but also with the Surge.
All right. We back. I had to.
We got you now. Yeah, we got you now. Yeah,
shut my internet off, so I made sure we weren't going to have any problems. So.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, as I said before, you have an announcement, breaking news right off the presses. Redux is in action. Set the tables for us as I put the poster up.
Oh, yeah. Not this Saturday. Next Saturday, January 11th, Redux will be in action at UPW at Upstate Pro Wrestling, Rochester, New York. Surge and I will be taking on American Strong Style. So, big challenge for us. These guys are former tag team champions at UPW. So we're looking to make a statement, because we've got one set of tag belts. We're trying to add to the collection. So getting a win over these guys would be big.
What's that like going there then? Have you wrestled here in Rochester yet?
Nope. This will be our debut here at UPW.
That's pretty cool. What's that going to be like going up to Rochester for the first time?
I mean, I'm going to assume it's just like, everywhere else. There's probably going to be, a little nerves coming into a brand new spot, brand new people. Because I guarantee we probably won't see anybody we know up there. Or, maybe we will. Sometimes you get shocked. But so it'll be a little nerve-wracking, but exciting at the same time because we're ready to go up there and prove that we belong. So,
that's always interesting because it makes me think back to my time. I've done a lot of college sports over the years and college basketball, and I would ask coaches when they would play sometimes at a conference, and I go, "Oh, what would it be like? You go into some different place and they haven't seen you. What would it be like?" And sometimes, in a way, this might actually be a really good thing for you in Surge because you're going into an environment, and sure, you don't know a lot of people there, but guess what? They don't know you. So in a way, I think it might favor you guys because there's really no way that American Strong Style or a lot of people in UPW are going to go sit there and study you guys. They're just not going to do that because this is literally just announced 10 days before bell time. So I kind of think in some ways, going back to my days and covering sports, a lot more sports than I did, it's actually going to be an advantage for you guys because you're the guys here that are actually going to be in the ring where your opponents aren't going to know as much about you.
Yeah, they're really going to have to go out of their way to study us because, we're, as the challengers coming into someone else's home place, it's like, we need to make the statement.
Sure.
They need to defend pretty much home territory. So,
and, we see that a lot in sports. Sometimes it's harder for the team that's the home team, especially in these big spots, to defend their ground. And that's why I kind of think in a way it's an advantage for you guys because it's almost like the analogy of baseball when sometimes a pitcher or a hitter first time around in the league, the other teams and the other players can't really prepare for them. So sometimes they go out and start really well. And I kind of think that that's going to be the advantage for you guys because also you guys have been tagging a lot and you guys have had a lot of success recently. As I mentioned, you guys have some gold now and it's your first belt in the Indies. So I kind of think here coming up next Saturday, doors open 5:30, bell time 6:05. This is Advantage Redux.
I agree with you. I mean, realistically, any match we have, the advantage goes to Redux, in my opinion. But especially, these guys, they're on home They got to defend home turf. We got nothing. We don't have as much to lose as them because they just lost the tag titles. So they need this win really more than us to bounce back to hopefully get a shot at the tag belts again. So if the way we're looking at it is if we beat these guys, that tag team title shot should be ours. So that's exactly how
That's a
we're going
great
to
point.
prepare for this.
Because it's interesting. You guys come in here first time in, and you could make a huge statement coming up next Saturday because you win a match here. All of a sudden, maybe you guys could get a shot at those UPW titles. Maybe you guys come in here and maybe people are going to go, you know what? Well, I didn't really know Redux. I mean, sure, maybe I've heard the name in 814. I've seen him in Battlefield at different places. But now I just saw what they did here coming in all the way 4 or 5 hours, 6-hour drive. And then to do this, I mean, you guys all of a sudden move right up the ladder, and maybe next show you guys do get a tag title shot. I mean, I think that's why this isn't just a match to show up and say, hey, you know what? I want to show up here and maybe I network, shake a few hands. You could really make a huge statement here and all of a sudden maybe get a tag title shot in February or March and all of a sudden add more gold to your already burgeoning resume.
That's the plan. So, we got them first belts back at the end of November, and fresh 2025. We're just going to see how much gold we can stack up this year because last year was a big learning curve, and we learned a lot. And now it's time to implement everything we learned. So, realistically, 2025 should be a very good year for us.
I definitely think it is. And also, by the way, so January 11th, next Saturday, doors open 5:30 p.m. Bell time 6:05. It's going to be Redux versus American Strong Style UPW Wrestle Bowl 2025. Boy, time is already flying. We're in 2025, and next thing you know, it'll be 2026. So this is the first show on Sportzwire. DSavage comes in here with a bang, gives us a breaking news right off the press. I'm excited about this. I love talking independent wrestling, especially independent tag team wrestling. I have a soft spot for that. That's how I kind of started in wrestling. I started covering independent tag team wrestling in the UK. So I have a real soft spot for that. I'm going to come back to this. Let me take this off the screen before I put something else up here, which is actually kind of also goes into my segue. You win your first gold not too long ago in the Indies. And what did that mean to you to win the rope-to-rope tag team championships? What did that mean for you in your career?
So it was the longest 1 year of my life, it felt, from when we started at Northern Tier. We had so many matches where we just got kind of, the short end of the stick. We'd lose here by pretty much the skin of our teeth. We would get beat in the stupidest ways. And then we finally get the tag team title shot that we've been wanting. And I think what really did it was we had the cage match back in September, and of course we came up short there in the 5v5. But I think we really impressed management enough to be like, hey, I think these guys deserve a title shot. And then coming out there and winning it in front of essentially our crowd. It was in our hometown. You really couldn't have painted a better picture.
Sure.
To do it in front of my entire family, Serge's family, in our hometown. It was everything I could have asked for our first title win. I don't think, other than winning the Undisputed Championship on night 2 of WrestleMania, I don't know if I'll ever be able to recreate that feeling.
But that's what I love about wrestling, and that's what I love about independent wrestling, because you get that up close personal touch, and it reminds me the way you're talking about that of UK independent wrestling. You're here at home, you got probably 20, 30 people between you and Serge, maybe a few people more, give or take, that are watching you. You get this moment, and you're doing it also in the Pennsylvania independent wrestling circuit. And the Pennsylvania independent wrestling circuit has got a rich history. I've been covering, as I'm sure you're aware of, the past, I'd say 4 or 5 months, PWX, and you look at what they've done, and it's just unbelievable the following. They just had their 30-year anniversary. Just an amazing testament to them, and just everything that they've done, and what the community is. And I see you with 814, and just a lot of great things about the Pennsylvania independent wrestling. So a lot of mom and pop, a lot of just small Americana, just really the true definition of what wrestling is all about. What's that been like now, being integrated into the Pennsylvania independent wrestling circuit? It just really got such a great history to it.
It's great finally, branching out between. I live in central Pennsylvania, so I got to travel most of the time, like out Pittsburgh area, out Philly area. But it's like I'm finally getting recognized, when I come out to these places, because they see me everywhere, and that's kind of like what I've been priding myself on. Like, I've been getting out in these different promotions. I didn't count how many promotions I worked for last year, because it was quite frankly a lot. Like, we were just, any chance we got, we would travel, and everybody that I've met so far here in Pennsylvania has been great.
Yeah, what a great scene. I've gotten a chance to know a lot of the people, obviously, from PWX, and they come on my show, Godric Sandwell, and Dave Jameson, and the Stompers, a whole list of people, and somebody else I won't name until a little while from now, but just all great people. And they love wrestling. They just, to me, it reminds me of, again, the UK wrestling circuit, where you go into like your little small cul-de-sac town in Barrow, or it's Morecambe, or it's Leeds, or it's Derby, whatever it might be in the UK, and you become that community. And I see so much of that, whether it's with you guys at Battlefield, Northern Tier, 814, PWX, and HWF, all these different companies that come on here. And I just see that same thing, and it energizes me.
Yeah, I love it. I've been to a couple other states, and it just seems like Pennsylvania just does it better.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. The Pennsylvania independent wrestling circuit, there's just something about it. I know Jersey has its, certainly hotbed towns. New York is so hit or miss. West Virginia, I know guys are kind of a thing to go there, but there's something about Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania wrestling circuit, and the indie scene in Pennsylvania. Matter of fact, I think it's probably in the Northeast. It's got to be maybe the very best. I think it's the very best state for you think about independent wrestling, and you and Serge have done that, and it's great to see. Congratulations on winning those titles. And I want to also talk about something else, which you also have a show coming up actually this Friday. I want to actually put it up here on the screen. I don't know if I have it here. Let me see. Is this it here? Or yes, it is. I got it. Yep. So you're in action here coming up in Battlefield on a Friday. Nevertheless, I didn't really know indies in Pennsylvania run on Fridays, but maybe it's different because of the holiday week, sort of still. But tell us what we can expect here coming up for you being in action already this Friday.
So Drew and I are making our Battlefield debuts here against that tag team, and it's great because he has his own tag team, Drew has his own tag team, and obviously I have my own, and now we're getting put together hopefully to play spoiler against the Bystsnatchers, to kind of be like, just because we're not in our normal tag team don't mean we still can't go. And Drew is a phenomenal wrestler, and we're just coming out here to make a statement. This is for AFA, so we got to make sure.
We spoke about this in the summer. This is AFA's promotion here in Pennsylvania here.
Yep. So I got to be on my A game for this one, and I've been training hard. I think I missed maybe one practice due to sickness, but it's been only been 3 months, but it's been a hard 3 months, and I feel like I am over prepared, but underprepared at the same time, because you never know what to expect. And I'm just going out there to help Drew make a statement that we are the future of Battlefield. No pun intended here.
And Battlefield's got a great history on some pretty big names. In fact, one name I know pretty well. I think we've spoke about him before in the past. RJ Carnage is here. You got and Phil Insane, by the way. I could never forget about Phil Insane. So you got some really big hitters here. I mean, figuratively and literally. I mean, that's got to be cool to be with some of these names here. I'm sure you're going to certainly talk to them, and that'll be kind of cool to share a locker room with some of those names.
Yeah, it's nice. Getting guys with that experience like RJ, sure, he's a lot smaller than me, but he's a great guy to ask for advice. And Phil,
RJ's like you. He comes from an underground wrestling fed. He was in DBW and he moved up and he's a big time indie star. And you're almost kind of like on the same journey as RJ Carnage in a way.
Yeah, and I think that's crazy. He's like, yeah, just look me up on YouTube. And I was like,
dude, he was in DBW, I think, the start of their season last year. And then now all of a sudden, he's hobnobbing with the Inoue family. And look at where he is. I mean, and you're, hobnobbed with Jake Dvorak. And now you'll, be a pretty big name too 6 months from now.
I mean, that's the plan. So, maybe in 6 months, maybe I'm working with Phil Insane. That'd be the goal. That right there. Phil's he's crazy, and I've seen his stuff with Masada. I've seen his stuff with Dreamer. So that would be one match that I want to have in 2025.
You got some really, Battlefield's got some big names in battle, in that company in Battlefield. Terry Adonis has been there. You got the Vetrano brothers. I mean, you got just you talk about like some big names, PWI 500 type of names. I mean, that's, Spencer Slade's in there. This is a company I know very well. So the fact that you're in here, I mean, like I think that's a really big accomplishment. I know the rope to rope tag titles were huge, but to be in a company like this, I mean, this is like a big prove me moment here coming up this Friday. I hope that you won't be nervous. You better not be nervous here this Friday.
Oh, I mean, if they say if you're not nervous, you don't care.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the longest time, I wasn't feeling nervous, and I just attributed that to preparation. Because if you're prepared, what do you have to be nervous of? Sure,
100%.
Shit's gonna go wrong sometimes. It's gonna go off the rails, but as a professional, which Alpha trains us not to be indie wrestlers, but to be professionals, that's where that kick comes into play. So, and I could see it from, before I started at Battlefield to even now. And I've gotten compliments from, friends saying, you've grown so much in so little time. It's because I have the well of knowledge and, Alpha, behind me. So
that's gotta be like, when you look back, because you haven't been doing this long, and yet here you are now, and you're under the tutelage of Alpha, you're with Surge, and you're wrestling in all these different indie places. And, I just got to ask this. I mean, tell me the difference between a pro and an indie wrestler. What does Alpha say exactly in the difference there? That's a really interesting point that Alpha makes.
Just carrying yourself professionally, coming in, not looking like a slob, be dressed up like this. He is preparing you essentially for WWE. Like you are, you show up early, you stay later to, make sure everything gets taken down. You are, being friendly and respectful with everybody in the locker room. And, just making sure you're doing the right things. Don't be out here trying to abuse your power or anything like that.
Well, that's a good point. That reminds me of in politics. They used to always say, you better show up and you better get there early and look good. But that's really for anything in the world. And I'm so glad that he's doing that. And, really excited. You're going to be here in front of a big crowd and with some really big names here. This will be taking place this Friday here. If you have a chance, please go out and support Battlefield Pro Wrestling. I'm telling you, there's a slew. I mean, I mentioned a slew of big names already. Phil Insane, Terry Adonis, and a guy that we kind of know here from this platform, Mr. RJ Carnage. I mean, I know Mr. Wakefield's here. I'm going to definitely promote the wedding, but definitely get out there if you can and get this. Tickets are only $10 to this. I mean, only $10, where you can see some of the very best pro wrestlers pound for pound in the world. So if you live nearby in the central PA or in the Pennsylvania area, go out there and do me a favor. Go out there, let me support this match, support all the great matches. The doors open at 7:30. Bell is 8 o'clock. It's this Friday. Where else would you be? It's going to be at the BPW Dojo. I know if I lived a little closer, I'd be there. But in the meantime, go out there and please support our very own DSavage. We're going to be in tag team action with Drew Marston against the Body Snatchers. And I will put a link up. Yes, I will put a link up here. As a matter of fact, I will take this off the screen. I've actually got a couple people who wanted to ask. So let me do this. Let me take this off the screen. So I'm going to go like this because I will put the Battlefield link. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the Battlefield Instagram link so that way you can follow them on Instagram. Thank you very much for that. So I'm going to go like this, go like that, and I'm going to go like right like this, and I'm going to go boom because, you know, DSavage, we can go put the share the screen. So if you want to check out Battlefield, check out what they have to offer. That's their Instagram page. You can check out a slew of their different content, some of the wrestlers. You can see some of the people here. Again, names I mentioned, names that some of us know here on this platform, and you can see it right here. You can see all the different names. You got just a long list of great talents, and I would highly recommend you support Battlefield Pro Wrestling. Trust me, this is where wrestling lives in the independent circuit. I actually got started covering wrestling in the independent. So please go out there and support them. You know, I will come back to some of that, and I want to talk about January 4th. But, you know, I do have to spend some time on NEW for a couple of reasons. I have to spend at least a few minutes on it. I see my buddy Joe Starr is here. I see Jake is here. So first of all, I got to ask you, I mean, you know, Joe, the last couple of weeks, there's been all these different attacks on Joe. And I know you're all of a sudden now kind of got your hands busy with Kuma, the golden boy. But what do you make of what's been going on with Joe Starr? I mean, Gabe Sayers was kind of a little more aggressive than usual, but it seems like it wasn't him. Then we had this week with Leonidas and just this whole thing at the end of the show. You were a part of it with Kuma. And so what are you thinking? Who attacked Joe Starr? What's your opinion on that?
I mean, I don't know who attacked him, but you'd think, you know, leading up to his match with me, you know, I got a million different things going on. I got to defend the title. I got the briefcase. I got, you know, trying to prepare. Maybe I'm counting my eggs before they hatch kind of thing. And I go into that match and then I lose. Well, what's the one thing they tell you when you win the belt? The target's now on your back.
Exactly what I told him when he was here. Exactly.
Apparently he was not ready for it because now he's been attacked countless times. So it's like you kind of should have known. So, but I mean, I told him that shit didn't happen when I was the champ. I mean, who's gonna jump me?
Well, you literally are like a savage, but yeah. I feel like Joe was where you were the year before at NEW, and maybe that Joe is having a hard time handling the pressure. He's went from the guy that was the hunter to now he's being hunted, and sometimes that's a difficult adjustment, and Joe is still learning a bit. Do you think that maybe that's a part of it also?
I mean, yeah, you gotta. I mean, unfortunately for him, he didn't make the adjustment fast enough, but you have to, you know, realize that it's going to come sooner than later. And for him, it came way sooner. So, I mean, from now on, he's just got to keep his head on the swivel because if that keeps happening, he's not going to be champion for very long. How many times can you get away with defending the championship hurt? And
his run's gonna end quicker than a New York Minute. I mean, you're gonna be in New York next weekend. I wish you were a little closer because I'd come out to see you, but you're in the southern tier. I'm downstate. I'm like 90 hours away from you, unfortunately. So I wish I could see you in Rochester. Try to wrestle a show in the city, and I'll maybe instead of buying one ticket, I'll buy 10 just so it supports you. But who knows? Who knows? You know.
When I'm wrestling in Madison Square Garden, I'll make sure you have a ticket.
No. I think people would ask me to buy you the ticket, but no. You know, there's Warriors of Wrestling that does stuff in Staten Island and Brooklyn and other places. You never know. Listen, my buddy Chris Urban was trained out of the House of Glory dojo, and he does some stuff. Sometimes he's in Manhattan. They do it's like 53rd and like 10th in the city, and they do Queens. So you never know. I mean, you never know there. But that's NEW's page. So hit the sub button for them. But I do want to ask you though, Insanity Calamity is coming up, and you have a match with the guy that's the so-called, yes, the dog is the golden boy, but Kuma at NEW is the golden boy. And I mean, should this guy not bother showing up at Insanity Calamity or what?
Listen, I really like Kuma's fire, his intensity. Yep. He reminds me a lot like me, except turned way up. So I'm excited to wrestle Kuma, and I think as long as he's prepared, there should be quite the match.
But your size, your ability, I know he hung in there with Rhea. I know he's certainly been moving up. Gabe I know it's Gabe, but Gabe has talked a lot about Kuma. I mean, can he hang with you though?
You know, Kuma's had a lot of matches with Justin Abel Sane.
Yep.
And Sane and I are kind of similar stature.
Yeah.
I'm just more athletic, stronger, smarter. I realistically am better in every way. We're just the same height.
Well, I'm going to plead the fifth on that. I'm going to plead the fifth on that. But, I mean, you have the briefcase still. Where do you – I mean, I have to ask you on that. I mean, what is your feelings, you know, with that? Where do you go from here? You know, you had the Northeast title, which you spent a lot. That was a very hard fought to win that title. I mean, you definitely earned that, and you lose the title to Joe Starr, who maybe in a way was a blessing for you, considering what Joe Starr's going through. So what is next for you after Insanity Calamity?
Realistically, I just got to, you know, get my bearings back, because I honestly did count my chickens before they hatched. Like I told Joe, I was gonna be the first undisputed Northeast champion, because I literally had everything in front of me. All I had to do was my job. And here's my thing. We all saw what happened in the match where he got hit
well, you know, we had it here. You had him. You had him. It was 1, 2, 3, and he had his foot kind of underneath the rope, and then there was another part of it. I mean, I talked about it here. I mean, I'll give you the opportunity. I mean, you know, what did you think during that situation? And I even brought it up. Well, I mean, could you blame Savage? I said to Joe at the time. And I mean, you know, like really you won the match and you were in control of that match most of the way.
Yeah. Like not at one point did I feel I was ever in jeopardy of losing that belt. And then I blame it on two things. Obviously I'm taking some of the blame. I can't discredit Joe entirely. So I'm taking some of the blame. I should have recognized he was on the rope. But then again, the ref, his literal job is to recognize he was on the rope, and he doesn't. He counts to 3. He's in a real good position to see that his leg is on the rope. And then we had to restart the match. And I was kind of checked out after, you know, I won the belt. I'm checked out. I'm moving on to the next thing I was going to do that evening, which I was planning on going to the back and trying to recover enough. And then I was going to see how the main event was going to turn out and see maybe we would have cashed that briefcase in and then been double champ. That was the entire plan. But I couldn't even finish step 1. So,
but you know, you could look at it. I know it's a difficult situation, but if you had won the title, maybe you would have been the guy that's been getting attacked like Joe was. I mean, I know you're going to say, yeah, but I got the size. I would know. I got more experience, but you don't know that. So maybe in a way, you focus on the briefcase. I know you just had a shot at the hardcore title with Jake. I mean, you wrestled double duty just at the last show, but maybe in a way, it's a blessing because now you can pick your spot on whatever title you want. I know you wanted to make history, but it's better to have something and maybe something more prized. And we know your history with the world title and, you know, how long you held it. So maybe this gives you, you know, I said how long, but maybe in a way it's a blessing what happened here.
I just don't see it as the blessing. I just see it as me failing in that regard, because I mean there was nobody cashing in on me this evening had I cashed in my briefcase, unless the owner would have came out and did something. I mean, we've seen that happen before. So,
Well, the
I
owner's
guess
trying. The owner's having a hard time really keeping, as all hell's been breaking loose here, figuratively and literally in NEW, and the owner's having a real hard time keeping things in order. That's why we're going to see insanity calamity. But I mean, I wouldn't want to be Kuma to be in your way though right now.
exactly, Kuma. If you're watching this, just know it's probably personal because your boy took
And
my
why was
belt.
he? You know what? What about the low blow after the match? What about the beginning of the match? He attacks you. I mean, what did you make of that? I mean, that was kind of bizarre. What a bizarre tag team match. And the team that was most, I guess, organized was a team that hasn't tag teamed before. Rob O'Malley and Stephen Havoc. Who would have guessed that of all people? Two outsiders that haven't officially wrestled in NEW before were more organized, and they got the victory. And now they're the ones that get a tag team title shot at Insanity Calamity. Who would have figured that?
I know. Like, let's look at it. Had I defended the belt, I would have had to defend the belt at Insanity Calamity.
Yep.
And then had I won the number one contenders match for the tag belts, would have got a shot at the tag belts. And then I might have even been able to cash in. That'd have been a triple duty. And I was like, who's done that? Who's been? Nobody's been, all three champions. But I mean, I pissed that away. So now I just got to focus on Kuma and handling my business with him because I really can't afford a setback.
Yeah, but I would look at it and say, you know what, though? It's the start of the year. Sometimes it's good to start anew. And Kuma is just maybe at the right time, right place for you. And that's going to lead to you to other championships. And it was what it was with Joe. But also think of it this way. You spent a lot to win the Northeast title. You put a lot into winning that. We talked here about the matches with Surge. Everything you went through, you win it. And okay, you lost it, but look at what's happened with Joe since. I mean, Gabe beats him. He's been attacked again. He's having problems now with Leo. Leo's going to get a shot at him. And Joe seems like he's having a hard time kind of figuring out this whole thing about being the guy that's hunted. And I think that you have done that already, and you'll move on. And I'm sure we'll see what happens. And Joe's here at the end of the month. Joe's here on the 25th. So I'm going to get Joe's side of the story, and I actually have some other NEW coverage. Stephen Havoc actually is here Monday night. He's here at 7:30, and here's the finish. I mean, unfortunately, throw salt in the wound, but there was the finish, and the match was over. I mean, it was over. I mean, we said it here, game over, game, set, point. Savage wins. Yeah. Savage is on to better things.
Here we go. Right here, I am ready to go back. I was probably going to eat 3 donuts.
No, you were. Stop it. You're going to probably go, you and Serge were going to have like some organic like vegetables and drink like tofu juice and then like lift like 80,000 pounds probably.
I don't know. On, most of the time after the match, the first thing I'm looking for is the sweets. I'm like,
all right, fair enough. I'm not arguing with you. You do it.
I'm like, where the fuck are the donuts at?
Duly noted, but it was what it was. I mean, it's unfortunate, but you don't like the referee winking a nod to begin with. So you got problems winking a nod with the referee, not saying anything further. But all right, so we'll see what happens. I'm excited about NEW. I'm excited about what's ahead with a lot of great stuff. And I think that you're gonna definitely finish very strong and what's ahead of NEW. I do want to put it out. If you like what you see from NEW of late, go out there, hit the sub button for NEW. We're actually almost at 2,200 subscribers right now. NEW is in the Sportzwire Radio Hall of Fame, and I'm going to give NEW a certificate when we get to 2,500 subs. And I have a lot of NEW coverage here. We're looking forward to Stephen Havoc, who just officially debuted here this past week. We're going to have Joe Starr in his usual spot. We'll see if the star of the show will be still much of a star. He'll be here on January 25th, so we're looking forward to that. I'm sure Jake will be back here and some of the others, but all great stuff, and I think I don't want to put the finish out there for you, so I'll actually go take it off because I want to keep you in a good mood because I got something I'm very
excited. Get out of here.
I knew that. See, I know my audience, but I tell you what I will want to do, though, in the meantime, go out there and please support NEW. Patreon, I'm a Patreon subscriber. All hell's breaking loose. Check that out. Christmas special, a lot of great stuff. Just check it all out. I'm telling you, it's worth it. and we can take this off the screen for now. So I'll take this off. Let's get to the chat before I really get excited about what I'm about to talk about. So let's do that here. Zilla. Zilla showed her face yesterday, by the way. I don't know if you heard about it. She showed it. Yeah, but it was like she showed her face. We spoke, and then it was like she was like intermittently like having either audio issues or was nervous. But Zilla was here. She was here for the New Year.
Zilla?
But we love Zilla. We thank her very much for that. And we wish her a happy New Year. Speaking of people that are here, and by the way, I know you're rooting for Jake this Saturday because you're in action. Jake is in action, by the way. He's in action with Jeff Nova, a very familiar face, against Mikey Anarchy and Gabe Sayers. So I know you're definitely Team Jake on that one.
Yeah, I hope he makes him bleed.
Well, you know what? There was some people yesterday that had a few things to say about GTS on Sportswire, and I'm sure they'd probably be Team Jake and Jeff Nova at this point, wink and a nod. But actually, I should probably make you chuckle in a minute because, I did meet Gabe after all. I should probably throw it on the screen as a reminder. Maybe this will give Jake motivation to actually, do something, I don't know, crazy in the match. But yes, we did actually meet. But the conversation was a grand total of like 7 minutes, maybe 7.5. But it was.
What did he do? Just show up and then just bolted?
No, he had to go on his Metro North. He was with his parents, and he was supposed to leave at 4:07, but he gave me like 5 more minutes. It was really 9, like 4:16 was his next ride. So he was like, I'll give you 9 more minutes. Can you make it? And I was very sick that day. I was on like 14 Sudafeds. I was on NyQuil, but it was like, all right, I'll do it because I don't know if I'll meet you again. And I wound up getting there, and we spoke for about 7.5 minutes. We talked about, you naturally and one wrestler that you wrestled that claims that he was being, I don't know, something with Tony Khan. We're not going to go there. And, spoke about, his show coming up next Saturday. So it was fun. He's a great guy. He's actually taller than I thought he was. He's about my height, about 6 foot. I actually didn't realize he was that tall. Camera doesn't do him well in NEW, but no, he's a great guy. Really, really. Couldn't say enough things about him. His father was very nice. His sister was there, and they were in Grand Central. Great guy, really great guy. And it's because of him we're actually talking because he said, I think you should follow NEW. I think you should talk to the guys, and they would want to come on Sportswire. So Gabe's been a friend, but Jake will probably put him through like 20 tables. So Jake will probably be motivated now. Happy New Year, though, to Jake. Hello to Jake. Hello here to Ultimate Gamer 2.0, who just subscribed to the Battlefield YouTube page. I know him from the Backyard Wrestling Nexus channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. I got to ask you about Chase Wakefield. First of all, have you run into Chase Wakefield yet? He's, been in the Pennsylvania scene. Have you run into him yet? Have you ever seen him? Like, does he exist? Is he a real thing?
Only thing I know of Chase is all of he was supposed to come to NEW. We never showed up stuff.
Yeah.
So I've never met him personally.
But you haven't met him in Pennsylvania. You haven't seen him around at the store. You haven't seen him, I don't know, anywhere? Nothing, huh?
No, I don't get out much unless it's to go to work or to train. I don't tend to leave the house.
So you don't think, though, that Chase should invite you and the Surge to the wedding? You don't think, it's in your backyard. It's in August, more than likely. I mean, he's inviting all these different people. I mean, D'Angelo's invited. I mean, he's got all these different names, and you or some others in NEW, you're practically neighbors. I would think that he should invite you.
I mean, yeah, I would. I'd love to receive an invitation. The thing that I see about all these super shows, all these collab shows, the common denominator is who's not there. NEW. Wonder why.
Well, because they should be there. I mean, they should be there.
I love seeing all these super shows, or what they want to call super shows. But how about when NEW puts on a super show? We get guys from all over, and pretty much all facets of the underground. And then when I see these other ones, there's no NEW guys to be found. Not sure what it is. Not trying to call anyone out per se, but I mean, it is. We see it, so.
Well, you know what? If there's something I can do to change it, I would love to see more NEW people at the shows. I would love to see.
100%.
Although technically, I think Shock had a show which did have some NEW flavor. Shocky's House Party. I will give Shock that much. And I have Mickey Vargas here on the 15th. So
yeah, the home guys, since they came to
Torrance Banks was here.
The All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Tournament,
Yep.
you know, when we held that.
Torrance Banks, Mickey Vargas. Yeah, they were here. They're
and
here.
Then,
Yep.
Those guys, you know, Jake and Shock and them have history from, you know, 1940s. So they go way back.
Pretty much, actually. Yeah. And Shocky.
So,
well, Shock's actually had the same answer you've had. He messaged me on Facebook and he's like, I want to be a part of this. And I'm like, all right, well, you know.
Shock goes, you know, we're having a house party. He asked Jake, would Surge and Savage want to come? He goes, I don't know if he just said ask him or not, but I mean, I never got the invitation, but I mean, I ended up not doing anything that week. I could have went.
You know, Mr. Savage, hearing you talk about these things, if I could, you know, I would do a super show in my house. I mean, I would do it in my house. I would just invite everybody. I would, you know me.
Who's bringing the ring? That's my question.
Unfortunately, I'd have to remove my pool, and I don't think that would be a good idea. I mean, I don't know where am I going to put the pool, but I mean, you know, I would love to do a super show if I had unfortunately, the space. I don't have the space, and I would solve the problem because it would be NEW, TF Crew. I'd get them all, IMF, ROEW, whoever else is out there, and maybe a guest we'll talk about in a few minutes. But I agree with you. I would love to see everybody wrestle everybody, but Mr. Wakefield's got a show too, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. We just spoke about Joe. Joe has become one of my favorites. Joe, don't change despite your attacks. Also, hello to we'll take this off the screen. Hello to the Ultimate Gamer and Chase Wakefield. There it is. Hello to Joe. Who else we got in the chat? BPW is huge. Got to give a huge congrats for making it there. Yes, and he knows him from DBW. Obviously, which I mentioned correctly, RJ Carnage, who's also related to Cyrus the It Factor. Hello there. Yes, I love, like, and respect Jake Dvorak, Power Surgeon, DSavage. Of the very, there we go. RJ Carnage is one of the very best up-and-coming stars. Yep, there you go. Thank you, Chase. Super proud of what he's done. He's a two-time winner of wrestles in BPW. Yep, there he is. I think I sent the link in the chat. He's an OG DBW guy. He's been busy with BPW. He can't make it a lot of time, but his last match was last year, correct? And that is the Battlefield link. And I will put your Instagram link up here in a minute because that would also get some more people to tune in to what you have to offer. So there you go. Let me go like this before I get to the next thing. So there you go. There's Mr. Savage. He's 5 followers away from 200. So get him to 200. Yeah. Or 4 now, right? Is it 4? Somebody follow. But we'll take this off the screen. There you go. DSavage. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. That's his Instagram page. Who else we got here in the chat? Hello, Jonathan Carpenter. Hello. I don't know you, Jonathan, but thank you very much for tuning in. Hit the sub button. Jonathan. Hit the sub button for NEW. Hit the sub button for Battlefield and Sportswire Radio. It's $65.79. Zilla still thinks Leonidas was the one that attacked Joe Starr. You know, could be. I want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Ace Reed, who just stepped up in a pro ring for the first time. He wrestled in Australia. Ace Shack. He went from yard to the ring, and he's making the adjustment as well. So congratulations, Ace. Happy New Year. How tall are you, by the way, according to Zilla?
Only 5'10", so.
Yeah, but you're like built like a tank, so you make up for it. Yeah. And if I could, I do want to say my thoughts and prayers to the people impacted by the horrific attack in New Orleans. Unfortunately, 15 people died last I checked, and they canceled the Sugar Bowl game, postponed it to tomorrow. And I don't know if there's some people out there near the area, but I did want to give my thoughts and prayers out there. I really want to, say, please keep your family in mind. You never know what can change in the world, and just our thoughts and prayers to that. Want to say hello to my buddy Kyle Shelby. Kyle is always here, and he's definitely up and coming as well, moving up the ranks. He's, I think, on for a big comeback. Calls you Papa Man Bun, although Seth Rollins is more.
Kyle wants a piece. I can tell. He's always
trying to get in. Yes,
he's always trying to get on the lives and talk smack with me and Jake. So,
well, he was doing that yesterday with the IMF guys and Anthony Steele, and he's moving. He's on the way up. I love Kyle. Kyle's a great guy.
Whenever he wants some, tell him you get your bench up over 225, and then we'll talk.
Well, he's definitely on the way. I believe in him. He says, I'm playing DSavage. I know you love him. Yep, we love Kyle. Kyle's just one of my favorites. Love Kyle. I live near Maryland, LOL, but I do travel to Central PA sometimes. I know, but I feel like you're in Pennsylvania. Don't you live in Pennsylvania? I got a day 2 DSavage I'd love to see you in. All right, there you go. See, I mean, I always am a magic. Sean Jovi said I'm a miracle worker. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. But also, I have a special place in my heart with you guys, and I would love to have some of you guys represent. Well, that'll be nice. Well, I think there's a lot of you. Joe Starr, you, Jake. I think Serge. I think Leonidas. I'd love to see Leonidas. I'd love to see. I hate to say it for you, Tyson Spade. I mean, there's a lot of them in NEW I'd love to see. I mean, we want me to say, I ain't gonna say Rhea for you because you're not happy with the way things are going in DHC, but
Yeah.
that's why I wasn't gonna do that. But Kuma, obviously. Well, maybe I should mention Kuma. If what you do to Kuma's last match is going to be coming in Sanity Calamity, so maybe I shouldn't say that one.
Yeah.
James Taylor, who's here, let's wish everybody Happy New Year. Thank you, James. We appreciate that. And I'll love to see Sportswire Super Show. I love to see a Sportswire. You know what? I would do it. I don't know. I just feel like I don't have the room for the ring, unfortunately. I would solve the problem.
Post it at NEW.
I know, but it's not my house, though. Well, it's up to Jake. It's up to Jake and Justin. Let's see what they think. What do Jake and Justin think on that? It's their company. Well, if I can help them do something, we can talk about it. If Jake and Justin want to do something, if I could do something to help out and bring people together. No, I'm serious. If I can do something to bring people together, if Jake and Justin want to do something, by all means, anybody knows me, I'm open door all the way. Tom, I did hear about that. Thank you. I don't know what you heard about, but want to say hello to Mr. Soldier GP. Soldier's here tomorrow in your chair, and he'll have a lot to say, I'm sure, in his company. And sorry for the audio. No, it's okay, Zilla. You showed up, and you reminds me in school. You showed up, you get a participation trophy. So
A for effort,
You got an A for effort. It was an A for effort, and we thank you, Zilla. But, okay, my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voiced figuratively and literally with all wrestling matters, and I've saved, I think, the most interesting topic for last tonight because you're in action this coming Saturday at 814 Wrestling, and it's kind of, in a way, a Sportswire radio match. It's you and some guy, Andrew Lovelace, but yet it's really not about Andrew Lovelace. The irony of this match, DSavage, is that this match, it's almost to you, it ain't the be-all, end-all. It ain't a match that you're loving. It's almost like a match that you really shouldn't be in at all. And I'm kind of wondering, for those that are listening and watching here on Sportswire Radio in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you most certainly helped build, why on earth are you exactly in this match then with Andrew Lovelace?
Well, I can tell you, I'm in this match because AC Norway wants to keep lying and kind of screwing me around. For the last couple months, he promised me a championship match after I just beat his former grand champion in convincing fashion in Big Tony Onyx. And then what's he do after giving me his word? He doesn't even use me the next show. So I got to come in as a fan. And then Luke was kind of, in prime position for me to attack. So I tried to make a statement there. But then I just keep getting passed over. So apparently he thinks putting me with Andrew is going to teach me something. So if he's going to learn anything, it's that he better give me that title shot or people are going to start getting hurt around here.
But this guy, Andrew Lovelace, I know him very well. I mean, this is really, to me, a Sportswire radio match. But it's not in so many ways because on top of this, he hasn't done a single thing in 814. And as a matter of fact, this is his first match here. So basically, he's trying to make a name off you. As a matter of fact, it's actually you here that's the veteran, and he's kind of the rookie. I mean, the irony of this match is that you're the veteran of 814, and he's the rookie. I mean, he's coming here to make a name off you.
It's been a long year, but I learned a lot, and I really implemented it at the end of the year. And coming into this match, I just feel bad for Andrew because he's pretty much getting fed to the wolves. Because I'm going to make a statement on why I should be number one contender. It doesn't even have to be for the Legacy Championship. It could be for either Ramsey's or Surge's Grand Championship, if that gets sorted out Saturday night, or even the 814 Championship. It
But you
doesn't
want
matter.
Luke Lee. You don't want Andrew Lovelace. You don't want to be in this match. If it was up to you, Andrew Lovelace should be DJing on January 4th. He shouldn't be here. He should go out there and be DJ Dirty White Boy, not the be-all, end-all. I mean, listen, Andrew Lovelace, as far as you're concerned, he has no business being here in your company.
Here's my thing. I respect Andrew. I saw him here with Max Hammer, guys.
It's Hammer time.
In the indie scene, I respect.
Richie Allen, by the way, if you've ever met Richie Allen, he was here with Richie. He's back here with Richie next week. Yep.
Okay. And it's just unfortunate it's got to go down like this because, Andrew, there's a place for everybody here at A14, but to be in my way right now is not where you want to be because there's nothing stopping me from tearing your head off and then Luke's head off later that night.
So really, the New Year's resolution for Andrew Lovelace is maybe not to show up this Saturday, don't you think?
He should pull a page from my book from last month and just duck the show. Don't come.
Maybe do it. Maybe go back to DJing on a Saturday, January 4th. Maybe still people on the weekends. Maybe Gabe Sayers could hire him for DJ work over in Meriden, Connecticut for the TF Crew Unhinged Rumble. I mean, Jake's there. Maybe, he packs up his suitcase, his gig bag, and, maybe he could spin some tunes there because the only tune you're going to be spinning for Andrew Lovelace is going to be, his head on a silver platter.
Exactly. And AC has no one to blame for this but himself. So, I'm all for the fresh faces coming in, but for them to be taking positions that I should be in, that doesn't sit well with me.
Oh, so you saying that Mr. Lovelace is trying to go for a position that you should be in? So basically, he is trying to take a spot away from you. He's here to take a spot.
Yeah, and it's not just Andrew. It's Justin Vane. It's Pat Angel. It's Robert Mathis. All these new guys who think that they are the next big thing, when realistically, the next big thing has already been in A14. And I've been here for a year.
Maybe he should go to HWF where he's been. Maybe he should go sit and Amplified again. Maybe he should go back to a seminar where he can go take his notebook out and pencil and paper and ready and maybe write down a move or two to do or, talk to this person because 814 is not in the cards for him.
It's the first of the year. Everybody's going to be running. Find something else to do. That isn't just a professional opinion. That is my personal opinion because I do not want to be responsible for what happens to you, Andrew.
Now, let me ask you this question. If Mr. Lovelace was out here right now, and again, would you have anything directly you'd want to say to Mr. Lovelace? Anything in particular?
I tell him, don't show up. But if you do, have your affairs in order. Because you're going to need it.
Now,
there's nothing stopping me Saturday night from tearing you apart to make a statement that I deserve the title shot that I've been getting ducked for months.
So it sounds to me like that while he might have tag team with a guy that used to run around with a plastic hammer, you're going to basically use Andrew Lovelace as the hammer, and it's going to be hammer time at the expense of Andrew Lovelace, you might want to say. But, Mr. Savage, I've received word that I have a surprise for you. I have a surprise here that would like to say something directly to what you've been saying here for the past, 10 or 11 minutes about Mr. Lovelace. And I know you're in a foul mood. I know you've been dealing with a lot of different things right now. You have a big show coming up this Friday. You're going to Rochester next Saturday. The last thing I want to do is to continue to have you as a savage animal and just, take away from what you want to do. And even Takuma, what you're going to do to him and Insanity Calamity. But I have received word that I have a surprise for you. And if you would like, I could bring this surprise here. And maybe the surprise could maybe introduce me if you insist.
Sure.
All right. You sure?
I'll indulge you.
You'll indulge me. Well, lucky me. But apparently, for those that are listening and watching here on Sportswire Radio, we are now going to introduce our surprise. Wait a minute. No, this can't be. It's the be-all, end-all Andrew Lovelace. Andrew Lovelace is here, and he's the surprise, and he's the surprise for DSavage ahead of this Saturday, 8/14 New Year's resolutions. Andrew Lovelace, Happy New Year, and take it away.
DSavage, I'm not backing out of nothing. I commend him for not using you. As a matter of fact, why should he use you when he could have a superstar like me? You could go ahead and focus all your sights on the Legacy Championship and Luke Lee and all that, because all you're going to do is open up a window for me to be able to capitalize on a victory this Saturday.
Is that what you think?
I know,
Andrew, I've been in this business, I'd say probably a lot less than you, right? You have the experience in the time in the independent wrestling scene. But time doesn't necessarily equate to experience. So in the short time that I've been here, I'm going to show you that I do it better and that you're not going to be able to touch me come Saturday night.
We'll see about that when the bell rings.
Well, just be aware. You're only going to hear the bell ring.
You might be stronger than me, but you're definitely not smarter than me.
Ooh. But Mr. Lovelace, you're coming into a new environment, a company you actually haven't been. This is a big man. I mean, he's a very big man. He's a ruthless man. He's got gold. He's wrestling place after place. I mean, are you sure that DSavage is the guy that you want to make an example out of to start your year off the way you want to start it off in 2025?
Absolutely. What a better way to start out 2025 than to take his spot in 814.
Take his spot.
Oh, that's funny. Take my spot.
I'm going to take your spot, and then my next sights are going to be focused on the Legacy Championship. How about that?
Oh. Well, Andrew, I'm telling you, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here tonight because everyone can witness what Andrew was like before I ripped his head off. Because you don't have to worry about taking my spot. You don't have to worry about coming back to 814. It'll be hammer time when the bell rings.
Oh, he used the hammer time line. He used the hammer time line.
You into the mat. And you're not going to want to keep going.
We'll see about that on Saturday. For sure.
He used the hammer time
I'm looking forward to it now. So you better show up.
Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there and ready.
You're going to be there?
Oh, absolutely. Saturday at the Gallery Hall. Without a shadow of a doubt. This is going to be the easiest match in my entire career.
Wait. You can't say the easiest. Whoa. Andrew Lovelace, I love having you, and I can't wait for Wednesday's show because we're going to talk a lot about this boy on Wednesday. Next week, same time, same bad channel, but this is not the most easiest match of your career. Come on, Andrew Lovelace. I mean, Andrew Lovelace, you realize who you're talking to there right now.
Absolutely.
You sure?
Absolutely.
Wait a minute. Are you saying this is the easiest match because Ian Graves is not the referee? Is that what it is here?
Well, that's a major factor for sure. Thank God he's out of the picture. But yeah, absolutely. I've never been more hungry, more well prepared. I've been waiting for this opportunity for well over a year. I've been studying you and that company for well over a year.
Jeez, it took you this long to get in?
I was off doing bigger things than you.
Bigger things, huh? Yeah, bigger
who's
things.
The one that's got gold right now? Savage is the one with gold.
So,
yeah.
Even a squirrel gets not every
your
now and then.
optimism.
You got lucky.
I love it.
No.
Lucky. No, dude.
Have you seen his tag team partner?
Yeah.
We are the next big tag team. Not just independent wrestling, but all.
Literally. I mean, I think Serge would take Max Hammer and take the hammer and break him like a
yeah, I'd love to say let's get our tag team partners involved.
No, we don't.
When this is over.
Do that.
But we're not going to need. We're not going to need to because you're not going to be wrestling
Saturday,
after.
call up your little boyfriend, and I'll call up my tag partner, and we can line that up.
No. We got to get to Saturday first. Listen, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, this is why, before we move on here and get ready to let these guys say a few final words here, you have to go out there. 814. I cannot stress this enough here. 2025 has started here with a bang on Sportswire Radio. It has started a savage way because it's New Year's resolutions. Almost in a way, it's a Sportswire Radio match. But guess what? It's a Sportswire Radio match that DSavage doesn't even want. And it's Andrew Lovelace versus DSavage. It's taking place at 814. Oh, boy. I'll tell you what. This is going to be one for the ages. I mean, the winner of this match, I mean, you've heard what Lovelace said. He's coming in here to take DSavage's spot. DSavage has already said, Luke Lee, I'm coming for you. I want this. I want that. And the only way you can go out there and buy a ticket, go to the 814 Facebook page. Go out there, get a ticket. I'm telling you, you are not going to want to miss this one here. This is going to be one for the ages. I mean, 814's got some big stuff. And Luke Lee's already got different things. We know he's going to be in action against Justin Lane. I mean, we've got Clayton King who's in action. We got some big names. And Savage already cut a promo. He didn't even want Andrew Lovelace. He wanted nothing to do with him. Wanted nothing to do with him. It's going to take place at the facility over there in 814. It's going to be there at over coming up this Saturday. You got to go to 814 Wrestling on Facebook. All you have to do is check the Facebook page, buy a ticket. Southern City's a sponsor, and I cannot wait. January 4th can't come any sooner. This Saturday, there is no better way to start the year off in style. Andrew Lovelace, DSavage. Gentlemen, I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to say final words to each other. I'm going to go with you, Mr. Lovelace, first. Is there anything you want to say directly to DSavage here before Mr. Savage gets the same opportunity?
I hope you're ready because you got 3 days.
Ooh, 3 days. You got 3 days. You got 3 days. You got 3 days.
I got nothing to say to you, Andrew.
He's got nothing. He's got nothing. He doesn't even want to talk no more. He doesn't even want to talk no more to Andrew.
I got bigger things to think about than you.
That's fine.
Andrew, you know what he's insinuating right now? He's insinuating you should go back to seminars. You should go back to training classes because at this point, you ain't going to have a chance against him. That's what he's telling you right now.
Distracted.
He's telling you go back to a seminar.
He's making the biggest mistake of his career. And Saturday, I'm going to prove it to him.
Ooh, Savage. I'll tell you what, you may not even make it to Kuma. You may not even make it to Rochester, New York. If Andrew Lovelace gets his way, oh my God. I can't wait. And guess what? Wednesday night, next Wednesday, Andrew Lovelace is here to talk the fallout from this. Andrew Lovelace is going to be on Sports.
He won't be here.
Oh, he won't be here.
He'll be in the hospital.
I should maybe reschedule his appearance.
I'll be here, hold my
Just
hand.
bring me back on.
Oh, I'll tell you what. You want to be in his spot next Wednesday.
Yeah, when I beat him.
Well, I'll tell you what. Maybe you should visit him. Maybe you should pay him a visit next Wednesday.
Maybe I'll host Sportswire with him next week.
You know what? People want me to retire. So maybe it's time to pass the baton off to you, Savage. You know what? New Year's resolutions, they're not coming this Saturday. New Year's resolutions is DSavage. He's going to be the one that hosts Sportswire next Wednesday. And he's the one that's going to interview Andrew Lovelace and talk about the historic match here at New Year's resolutions. And maybe the dog is going to be here. Maybe the dog is going to do the interview.
We can give him a preview now. Andrew Lovelace, how did it feel to get your ass completely smashed? Saturday night at 814.
Oh my God! I can't wait! I can't wait for this Saturday. New Year's resolutions.
What's your plan? Are you going to go back to Max Hammer and you guys just little circle jerk?
Oh, no.
It's hammer time. But 1994 called. 1994 called. You can't touch this. Max Hammer, you ain't too legit. You ain't got no Adams group. Put him in the mix. Nah, the only thing he's in the mix is going to find maybe some parachute pants because DSavage is parachuting his way to 814 at the Galleria Mall. And Andrew Lovelace is going to find out what DSavage. But if Andrew Lovelace gets his way, Andrew Lovelace is going to show why he's the be-all, end-all, and he's going to be spinning his own tunes next Saturday at the Galleria Mall, and it's only going to be at the expense of DSavage. Boy, I cannot wait for this. Gentlemen, do you have any final words, anything you want to say before we sign off? And something tells me you two gentlemen are going to be seeing each other for sure next Wednesday night on Sportswire Radio.
We'll let the lady go first.
Oh!
Well, how kind of you. Because I was going to let the elder go, but at this point, just show up because you're going to get murdered. And I want to do this now. So I want to do this so I can get this out of the way and then focus on something that I have to do.
Yeah. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
I highly doubt you're going to get the job done.
We will.
Ooh, I'll tell you what. If you want to follow Andrew Lovelace, you're hearing him for the first time, I recommend that you follow. And I'm going to put his Instagram up because we've been putting Savage's Instagram up throughout the evening. I got to do it. There are people here that want to hear him. He's here next Wednesday. And if you're going to be interviewing him, you should want to promote your guest next Wednesday.
Savage, if you're going to interview me next week, get rid of that horrible man bun.
Wait a minute. What do you have against the man bun?
You're just bald. You're just bald.
I need a makeover real bad, bud.
Well, that would be an ABC does those shows. We don't do them. Yeah. We don't do makeovers on Sportswire. But
we'll see what type of makeover you'll need after the match because I'm sure your face is going to be rearranged.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see about that.
Well, this is Andrew's Instagram page.
Look at him in his cute little heart glasses.
And I do agree with Justin Parsley, the whole moniker of Sportswire Radio. It's a Hall of Fame worthy episode with two Hall of Famers, two fellow Hall of Famers actually going back and forth.
Where's JP at? I thought he was supposed to come to AEW. My guy, what's up?
Well, he's got to figure out where to get his cars fixed. I don't know. It's up to him. I don't know where he's going right now. But he's gonna figure out what next. But yeah, man bun. Yeah, the man bun was funny, Kyle. DSavage too legit to quit Dak. I don't think I'll be on here later. I was on for 3 hours yesterday, but I am on here tomorrow at 9:30. But okay, yes, I do agree with you, Zilla. Thoughts and prayers to everybody in New Orleans. Please, if you can, before we sign off, keep your thoughts and prayers to everybody in New Orleans. Horrific incident there, and we can only pray for those people. And just terrible, absolutely terrible what happened there. And I can't say enough about keep your family close. And if you have a loved one, say you love them, say goodnight to them, and you just never know what life brings you. And those people, I just can't say enough how terrible that this still goes on in 2025. But thank you, Zilla, for bringing that up. But obviously, we'll take this off the screen. I can't wait to see this match. I hope we get a chance to watch this match on Wednesday. I'll tell you what, before we go, I hope that this match will be on the 814 YouTube page by Wednesday. And I'm going to play it on the screen.
It won't be. They take 9 years to upload.
Well, that's the typical. Well, I'm going to be
fair. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I'm going to say on this one.
That's one thing I will agree with him on.
Well, I'm going to say this much. I'm going to say no comment on that because I could say a lot on it. But I'm going to say go buy 814 Wrestling's tickets to the show. Check out DSavage and Andrew Lovelace. And thank you for them to come on here on Sportswire Radio. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally where all wrestling matters. Also, if you hear DSavage is on Instagram, give him a follow. If you've seen him here for the first time or if you've seen him not for the first time, hit the sub button for him. Also hit the sub button for our friends at NEW. NEW is on YouTube, 2,200 subs. I would really appreciate that very much. And if you're on Sportswire Radio, I'll see you at 9:30 tomorrow. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one, Double Region, that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. Thank you to Andrew Lovelace, the be-all, end-all, and DSavage, one half of the Rope to Rope Tag Team Champions. And I'll see you.